Love X Revenge. On the frozen edge of the world, where breath turns to crystals in midair and the wind howls like a living creature, people once faced temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius without modern gear, electricity, or advanced technology. Their survival was not a miracle. It was the result of knowledge passed quietly from generation to generation, methods so simple yet so powerful that they seem almost unbelievable today. These forgotten survival techniques reveal how human ingenuity, discipline, and deep understanding of nature allowed people to endure conditions that would terrify most modern travelers. In the far north, winter was not just a season, it was a force that shaped every decision, every movement, every tradition. People learned early that survival began long before the cold arrived. Preparation was the first law. Families spent entire summers and autumns gathering food, drying meat, storing roots, fermenting vegetables, and preserving fats. Fat was especially precious because it provided dense energy needed to keep the body warm. In -50 degrees Celsius, calories were not just nourishment, they were fuel for life itself. Clothing was another secret weapon. Without synthetic fabrics or high-tech insulation, people relied on natural materials with remarkable properties. Fur and wool were not worn randomly, they were layered strategically. Inner layers were made from soft, moisture-absorbing materials to keep sweat away from the skin. Outer layers were crafted from dense fur or leather to block wind. Many communities understood that dampness was deadlier than cold, so they designed clothing that allowed ventilation while maintaining warmth. Boots were lined with fur, gloves were double-layered, and hoods were shaped to protect the face from frostbite while allowing breathing. Shelter was never an afterthought. Instead of fighting the cold, people learned to cooperate with it. In Arctic regions, snow itself became a building material. Snow houses and compacted snow walls trapped heat surprisingly well because snow contains air pockets that act as insulation. These shelters were often built in locations protected from strong winds, such as valleys or behind natural rock formations. Inside, people arranged sleeping areas above the ground, since cold air sinks and warmer air rises. Even a small difference in height could mean survival. Fire was central to life, but it was not always easy to maintain in extreme cold. People developed methods to carry embers, protect flames from wind, and conserve fuel. They understood which types of wood burned hottest and longest, and how to stack firewood to prevent moisture from ruining it. In some cultures, animal fat was used as fuel, creating lamps that burned steadily even in freezing conditions. Fire was not only warmth, it was light, comfort, and a psychological shield against the darkness. Food choices were shaped by survival logic rather than taste alone. In extreme cold, people favored high-fat, high-protein diets. Meat, fish, and animal organs were consumed in ways that maximized nutrition. Bone marrow, liver, and fat were considered delicacies because they provided essential energy and vitamins. Some communities ate raw or lightly cooked meat to preserve nutrients that would otherwise be lost through cooking. Fermented foods helped maintain gut health and provided vital nutrients during long winters when fresh plants were unavailable. Movement in the cold required intelligence. People avoided sweating because moisture on the skin could freeze and lead to hypothermia. Instead of rushing, they moved steadily, adjusting clothing layers to maintain a balance between warmth and dryness. Travelers planned routes carefully, memorizing landmarks and understanding how snowdrifts and ice formed. They read the wind, the sky, and the behavior of animals to predict storms long before they arrived. Community played a crucial role in survival. In -50 degrees Celsius, isolation could be fatal. People lived in tightly knit groups where cooperation was not optional but essential. Tasks were divided according to skill and strength. Elders shared knowledge, hunters provided food, artisans crafted tools and clothing, and everyone contributed to the collective survival. When someone was injured or weak, the group supported them, knowing that the loss of one member could weaken the entire community. One of the most fascinating forgotten methods was the management of body heat through posture and sleep. People did not sleep the way we do today. They often slept close together to share warmth, sometimes with animals nearby. They used layered bedding made from fur and grass, designed to trap heat while allowing moisture to escape. Before sleeping, they ate fatty foods to generate internal warmth. They also understood that mental calm was essential. Panic wasted energy and accelerated heat loss. Tools were simple but ingenious. Knives, needles, sleds, and traps were designed for efficiency and durability. Even the smallest object had a purpose. People carried emergency kits containing fire-starting tools, dried food, and basic medical supplies. They knew that losing a tool in the cold could mean losing a life. Perhaps the most powerful survival method was psychological resilience. People who lived in extreme cold did not see winter as an enemy but as a reality to be respected. They developed rituals, stories, and traditions that gave meaning to hardship. Songs were sung during long nights, myths explained the harshness of nature, and communal gatherings strengthened emotional bonds. Hope was not an abstract idea, it was a survival strategy. Modern humans, surrounded by technology, often underestimate how fragile we are without it. A power outage in winter can cause chaos in cities where people depend on heating systems, electric stoves, and digital navigation. Yet our ancestors, with no such tools, walked confidently into frozen landscapes because they understood the rules of survival written in nature. Their knowledge was not written in books but etched into daily life. It was learned through observation, trial, and sometimes tragedy. When someone froze, the community learned why. When someone survived, their methods were remembered. Over centuries, this collective wisdom became a silent science of survival. Today, much of this knowledge is fading. Modern clothing, heating systems, and global supply chains have replaced traditional methods. But in remote regions, some communities still practice these ancient techniques, proving that they are not myths but practical systems refined by time. The story of humans surviving -50 degrees Celsius without modern gear is not just about cold. It is about adaptability, intelligence, and the deep connection between humans and their environment. It reminds us that survival is not always about advanced technology but about understanding the world around us and ourselves. In a world where comfort is taken for granted, these forgotten survival methods stand as a quiet testament to human strength. They show that even in the most unforgiving conditions, people can endure, not by conquering nature, but by learning to live within its rules. And perhaps, in remembering these ancient ways, we rediscover something essential about what it truly means to survive.